Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Obsidian tongue, Eclipsing Worlds of Scorn, out May 30th on Profound Lore. This album has 6 tracks, 41 minutes in length, and this is the band's 4th full-length studio album. They are an American atmospheric black metal band. The design of the album is dynamic, it's fluid, and it's definitely engaging. It's an album that allows for growth in the sound, in the atmospheres, in the overall textures that the record puts forward. You definitely feel a sense of growth and a sense of becoming more accustomed to that growth with every passing song. This is not to say that the tracks individually don't have their own merit or their own quality, because of course they do, but I honestly feel like this is a record's record where every single song adds a little bit more to the overall pieces that make up the puzzle that it is Eclipsing Worlds of Scorn. So the tracks build up in a perfect way in order for you to get accustomed to the sound, accustomed to the experiences, grow with the album, develop with the record, and really get the most out of it. It's a great design that allows for this sense of sequence to exist, still in a very dynamic and at times you could even say almost chaotic world. As far as the sound on this album is concerned, I think this is a record that could live off of 2 main elements or 2 main ideas. One is the atmospheric side of the record, and the other one is how rich the sound is. As far as the atmosphere is concerned, the cool thing about this album is that the atmosphere of the record in general, but even of the songs individually, is not defined by one single element. There's not one piece of the puzzle that determines what kind of atmosphere you're going to get on this record. In certain tracks, the synths provide a lot of that backdrop, a lot of that atmosphere, a lot of the ambiance to the song. There's other songs where the guitars play a more important, a more defining role in what that atmosphere is. And there's tracks where the vocals also play a very important role in defining that very same atmosphere. So it's a very atmospheric record all around. It's just that it's not a single element that defines all of those experiences, and that gives the record a very rich approach, not just from what you get from a sense of feeling the album, but also what you're going to get as far as the actual sound on the album. And that's where the rich part comes in. This record has so much texture, so much life, so much energy. It's so rich in what it offers, it's so rich in what it has, that really allows you to see the different facets of the band on a single album, and also see that growth that I mentioned earlier that the track listing really provides or really helps to define. You can look at elements like the guitar sound, for example. The guitar sound on this record is not uniform and it's not constant. You're not getting the same output, the same ideas, and the same results by consequence of that. It's an album that offers a lot of different feels, that has a lot of different textures, from the more acoustic side to the more black metal driven sound, really penetrating riff style approach. This album has a little bit of it all, some more melodic black metal elements as well as far as the guitars are concerned. So it has a lot of life, it offers a lot of different perspectives, and that adds to the overall richness of sound that this album has. When you match that experience specifically coming out of the guitars and then obviously out of the synths, the impact that those 2 elements have to the sound and to the atmosphere really help define the album globally as far as what the overall sound experience is all about. It's a record that has these this yin and yang that are always not necessarily battling with one another, but finding ways in which they can coexist while fully expressing themselves on almost every single song. And that makes for such an engaging approach. It makes for such an engaging record, because it doesn't matter if you listen to this album for the 10th time or for the 100th time. I feel like you're always going to find something new, something different, something that you just didn't perceive before, that just went under the radar. The album has that sort of layers to it and has that sort of richness of sound that keeps giving you more and more and more with every single time that you decide to press play on it. And that is something to say in terms of the overall quality that this record has, in terms of the sound, but not only the sound, because the vocals on this album offer almost as much in terms of dynamic movements as the sound itself. Because the vocals, while at first glance feel very consistent, and it's definitely one of the most consistent elements on the entire record. There's also a lot to experience, from backing vocals to clean vocals to those more dark and black and metal style vocal approach. This album does have a lot of movement on the vocal side. Not as much as there is on the musical side of the record, but there's definitely a lot of movement on the vocals as well, which is another element that adds to the overall texture into how rich this album really is. And when I was finished listening to this record, and I listened to the album multiple times, I've always felt like the album sounded like my first experience going through it. And I think that's a great sign of quality about this album. And it's an album that allows you to really dive super deep into each and every single song, and then how each and every single song adds to what your overall experience is really defines this album as a whole. It's a great record from that perspective. It's a record that has a lot of twists, a lot of turns. It doesn't follow a linear path at all, not just on a track by track basis, but even within songs. There's so much to expect. Expect the unexpectable almost as far as this record is concerned. But sound wise, vocally, super strong, very dynamic. Like I said, atmospheric, rich, layered, a lot to offer. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Snakeskin Tunnel Colony. This is more, at least at glance, it feels more like a traditional black metal style song, and that's how the song really opens up, with a more driven, cold, narrow sound. Bringing clean vocals into this song allows for also a more melodic guitar sound and a more melodic synth sound to come in and to open up the track, at least at times. I felt like the choruses were a little bit more open, a little bit less restrictive, but definitely the verses on this track really feel compact and narrow. This creates a nice ebb and flow. It creates a nice dynamic within the song, making the track feel more engaging and more fluid. Then you get to the midway point and the song completely turns. It becomes almost like an atmospheric piece, really driven by guitars and vocals. Those two elements define what that portion of the song is, and what it is. It's very haunting and very dark, dark in almost a sinister way. Now, the sound behind it also develops almost into a psychedelic approach, or a psychedelic style sound experience, which adds even more texture to what the song had already offered up until that point. This really prolongs the track, extends the track, almost resets the track, and allows the track at the end to kind of become an experience of the two worlds. What you had in the beginning, which was that more narrow black metal traditional style sound, with some more melodic elements that we already had seen in the chorus. So it's a track that morphs, grows, develops within a cocoon, but then it gains wings and it becomes a butterfly. It's really interesting dynamic and development as far as the song structure is concerned. Then we have Eclipsing Worlds of Scorn. The synth and guitar melody together on this song really creates a very open atmosphere to the track. It has a sense of broadening the horizons a little bit more on this song, and it allows some of the more heavier, darker sound to be funneled in through it, but not necessarily overtaking it. This creates this alternative state between that more sense of darkness, that more sense of heaviness, that more sense of weight to the song, with that more melodic, open experience that the track has. This allows for clear cuts and clear definitions between the two, which creates a roller coaster ride of a song from beginning to end. It's always moving up and down between these two main elements. Really rich sound wise on both of them, on both spectrums, and very atmospheric overall. Last but definitely not least, the closing track on the record, Theater of Smoke and Wind. I love the guitar sound on this song. It's one of the few songs on this record where the guitar sound and vocals play perhaps a very key defining role from the beginning all the way to the end. Not just from a musical standpoint, but definitely also from an atmospheric point of view as well. And this is important because it becomes the exclamation mark, or everything had been leading up to a song like this. A song that focuses a little bit more on that experience that comes out of the guitars, what you can do with those guitars, having some key elements in there of acoustic elements guitar wise that allows the sound to have more to offer, to have more life in it, to have more layers. It also allows the song to be a lot richer sound wise, using the same instrument but now with different perspectives, with different outlooks. And then you have vocal nuances on this song with some clean vocals, some backing vocals that work really well as well, stretching out the boundaries of what the song vocally can deliver and can offer. One of the biggest sounding songs, if not the biggest sounding song on the record. And when you listen to this album and you see the developments happening song in and song out, this closing track really becomes the synopsis of what the whole record was developing to. This track gives you a sense of finality, not just because of the size, but because of how the elements are put together, presented, and put forward for the listener. Everything was leading to this, and then this song becomes the perfect end to this incredible journey of a record. This is it, Eclipsing Worlds of Scorn, once again out May 30th on Profound Lore. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.